Gonna get Viego again.
Phreak, this is a very big bet by Team Liquid in game number 1 right off the bat. If you win big, if you win here. Defeating closers, Viego saying this is not all it's cracked up to be. We are not going to fall to the reset comp of 100 Thieves. That would be huge, but we're playing right into the success that he has had all playoffs long.
They absolutely are, but Ssumday will be more vulnerable with this pick. If they want to go, something like a Gnar here, you can first round counterpack that with a Jace or with some of the aggressive matchups, melee matchups that Alphari does like to play, so there are options.
I expect 100% 100 Thieves to keep Ssumday on either Gnar or Ornn. It's those two champions he picked every single time last time around. They want him weak side, and that is the focus towards FBI. That's what you gain from it. Early Varus pick here, since the Aphelios is banned, makes a lot of sense.
All right, gonna wait a little bit to find the mid lane matchup. Had the LeBlanc covered earlier on. Want to see if he actually wants to play the aggressive matchup into the Syndra. I mean, I didn't think it was likely. Does go LeBlanc after all. Still an assassin in mid. I told him I wanted to see some karma. He didn't want to go for it.
Now, this is really interesting. If they actually want to match roles here, grab something like the Ashe that has some power down there in the bot lane that can go toe-to-toe with that Varus, or if they want to go for a priority pick in topside, throw more bans towards someone like Ssumday, you could do something like taking the Gnar or the Jace yourself, throw a couple bans towards him. Instead, they're going to go Camille, and I think now we will see the Gnar ban potentially. And just try to really put somebody off of comfort. I think that Alphari wants to have a carry versus carry matchup in the top lane. He should excel in that situation, and this does potentially leave Ssumday pretty vulnerable.
I think even if they throw, Gnar/Ornn bans towards him, he would still be able to dig something out like a Malphite or something, and he's happy to take his CS loss. We've seen it already. He's happy to play without resources, go down a bit, and try and be a team fighter for the team. So Team Liquid won't even drop any bans in that bucket, and instead go after one of the best playmaking, the best team fighting, basically, supports that was so critical for 100 Thieves. Huhi's Braum protected so many team fights for them. The counter engage was really big, so I like that ban from Team Liquid. A lot of the team fighting power actually did come from support role.
Interesting, yeah. And they could take another high priority support here and then kind of push down Huhi a little bit more as far as that does go. If they want to really whittle that down. Leona makes a lot of sense, but Huhi has a lot of picks he's comfortable with. Nautilus, Set, things along those lines. I think we can easily see him move towards. Those seem to be really popular for him. The Shen would be an interesting look. I think Shen is actually quite a good matchup into Camille in the early levels. Of course, you will be outscaled as the game does go on, but this is a smart weak side pick that I think is harder to punish than something like a Gnar who gets stuck in mini, and will also allow you to play sides and potentially make plays towards your bot lane that you want to play through.
And then any short trade, you're fine.
I love it.
As long as you understand the matchup at all, you just press W when she's charging Q2. You just dodge her single biggest damage ability. Yeah, Q's cooldown shorter than dodge zone, of course, but you just take shorter trades. You're like, well, here's when we're fighting. I'll taunt Q, I'll deal some damage, I'll dodge Q2, trade's over. You're at 2/3, I'm at full. See you again in 20 seconds when you do it over again.
I think where it gets interesting, too, is going to be the summoner spell choice once we get to in-game for him. If he actually wants to go all in and chooses Ignite for the Camille, and they actually want to try and kill the Shen and take away that global, because if you don't, then it gives over exactly what 100 Thieves are looking for. Shen on top of a LeBlanc going in, Shen on top of a Viego going in is terrifying for later in the game.
But I think it's going to be tough if you don't actually put Ssumday way down early on. Build early Tabbies, build early Bramble. He can go defensive build here if he wants against Lee Sin Camille on the top side. Yes, Syndra is magic damage there, but really you just need armor and health against the composition that TL has put together. And Shen is going to be really happy to build that here early on. So it's going to be an exciting one.
The bot lane pick to me is interesting, though, with the Ezreal. We know CoreJJ loves to roam around the map and get things done. However, Tactical has not in his entire career on to Summoner's Rift. 100 Thieves and Team Liquid are doing battle for the LCS Championship. Trophy number 5 for TL, or the 5th team to ever win an LCS title opposite them. Of course, a reminder for everyone at home, you can still enter to win the ultimate Bud Light Gaming bundle. Just tweet at Bud Light Gaming using the hashtag #DestroyTheNexus when you see a team win to chip away at the health bar and make that one happen. But gentlemen, we got a game to cover.
Absolutely, and I think so many eyes are going to be on Ssumday in this top lane. You know, I had questions about his champion pool coming into today, and I think the Shen is a really smart pick. It works stylistically with the way the 100 Thieves like to play through bot lane, to have aggressive junglers, aggressive mid laners here. You know, you talked about the pairing of Viego plus Shen. This allows Viego to go that much more aggressive to get the first reset and potentially snowball through some of these fights. But it does depend upon Ssumday not getting run over in the 1v1. And that is where Alphari has been such a beast. He has been the best laning player, I think, not just in top lane, but in the league, and historically dominant in top lane.
Plus, going to be taking in consideration the bottom lane matchups here, and the Varus Alistar, the power of the early laning from Varus versus Ezreal does seem quite good for 100 Thieves. That's why Closer now going to start on the top side. You don't want to play to your Shen early, so he's starting blue buff, going to head down towards the bottom half of the map, and while they did get the deeper ward on Raptors, they'll be able to at least assume that it's going to be the opposite there for Santorin.
So they're trying to get maybe his first grass sprayed off. They're going to, not even trade Keystones back and forth. Nicely done.
Yeah, it's a really interesting matchup because so much of it is about actually getting utilization out of your passive on the side of the Camille. You know, as the Shen, you don't want to be trading into that physical damage shield unless you have your own passive shield. And also the timing around the W for Shen. You know, you were talking about it in Champ Select, you know, trying to predict exactly when that Q2 is going to come out for the true damage. If you can block that, you can win the trades. If they can bait you into using the parry early, those trades can start to look really, really bad.
And because of these matchups going as expected thus far, it should be an even trade for junglers. Bottom Scuttle Crab is acquired for Viego for Closer by the pushing Varus bottom lane there with the Alistar to support. So it shouldn't be any early confrontation. Meanwhile, Santorin playing up to Alphari. Easily we'll be able to secure topside Scuttle Crab and just go for normal clears. No early action going to explode and turn up into any first bloods here. Mid laners not even trading that heavily. Still on pretty even consumables.
And two rechargeable stacks down right now. Good trade on a Huhi taking some decent damage. Of course, Aftershock Alistar much better at scrapping early on. Knows that getting locked up by a Leona pre-6 hurts a lot. So hides out from that one. Both the supports going to be... And by the way, you know, it's not just going to be a bot lane matchup. They're both going to run around and get a lot done. You can. It's basically the observer view when you watch both supports here in Pro View.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to time W there, charging it up pre-scuttle spawn. Oh, taunted in the tower. So he does take a tower shot, and that's actually a pretty big deal. It's going to mean he will have to base, but he got the wave in, so it shouldn't be much of an issue that will bounce back towards him. So if he just bases and just walks straight out with the pushing wave, Ssumday is the one who's kind of in a more awkward spot where he needs to reset it, or it'll actually slow push away from him and potentially freeze towards Alphari. And that's more difficult when your jungler's on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, I think the only big variable that's showing up here could possibly be for mid lane action. And since Jensen has the wave in a very safe spot here as the Syndra, you know, these super aggressive LeBlanc trades at this close to the tower not coming through. So there's not a big opportunity for jungle to capitalize on. Now, after reset, Santorin is actually going towards Gromp, towards bottom side clear. Could fish around for a lane gank into some sort of action, but everybody still has summoners, so probably won't result in the death.
All right, covering just in case. Knows based on closest pathing, but a finish up Krugs. Could have been looking around, but now Lee Sin is back to go for the Gromp down there as the top laner straight back to not much happening.
Also want to highlight the vision that you are afforded by a pushing bottom lane. It's so nice because you have two players down there, so they have the extra time to not only acquire bottom Scuttle Crab for Viego, but head up into the jungle. And since it was a bottom side clear, they can just continue to keep track of Santorin's Lee Sin, take away that surprise factor that Lee Sin usually will have to try and influence matchup.
Exactly. I mean, they got the Scuttle plus 3 wards down there, so there's no way he could get anything done besides that potential lane gank, which is very difficult to actually pull off in this case. Jensen TP'd back early. You know, he grabs his tier. He does force Abbeddage back to base, but should be able to get out there and have no problem. And I think right now, Jensen really just wants to crash the wave and reset it. CoreJJ and Santorin were spotted on that ward, but are moving out here towards mid. So we'll see if they just want to go for a move.
Would have landed the chain. Jensen's a flash to get out of the range. Careful, because CoreJJ's on the way as well. So flash the Zenith Blade, and now they're chasing him with Santorin as well. So TP comes in for Ssumday as well to make it the 3v3, and they won't quite lose. That is a teleport used after he was able to shop, so it doesn't really hurt him that badly as he walks back to the top lane. No kills.
Yeah, pretty aggressive all in there from Closer, requiring the extra teleport to get him out in the aftermath from the close because they had full vision of Team Liquid and they wanted to make this attempt on Jensen's flash just before the rest of the team could turn around and get there in time. Good answers from Team Liquid actually get pretty equal summoners out. You know, the extra teleport down for Shen isn't as big since Ssumday now does hit level 6 and Stand United will allow him to answer if it's that necessary versus Alphari.
And it's really just going to come down to, can you actually repeat mid and try to punish Jensen, right? Because Abbeddage does have his flash, and if you can set up a chain onto the Syndra, bring in the Viego, there is potential to get a kill there. Huhi, obviously, with his summoners available too, is going to be looking to attack the Syndra.
That's why I kind of almost always feel like it's a very good trade to trade if it's just jungler for mid lane flash of a low mobility mid laner like Syndra, because you're the one also with the Shen on your team. If you can unlock Shen's minion wave, then you can open up that offensive Shen Stand United early in the game, and that really helps. But Alphari's job right now is to continue to pressure that Shen, keep him under tower. So if you Stand United away, you'll lose minions, you'll lose turret plates. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves can easily just take up this dragon without the extra interference. Since jungler is top side there, they know Santorin just finished up on Krugs and will easily acquire #1 Cloud Dragon here for themselves and want a little bit more. This one could get pinched.
Yeah, it was a nice trinket ward that Ssumday put down a little while ago, spotted him pathing up through that after scuttle, and is like, great, okay, we can cross-map him, and nothing traded back. I want to know if they're able to group up for the Rift Herald spawning in 40 seconds afterwards, but yeah, a blue buff steal to go with it is great. All that money coming in kind of, you know, works back the gold lead.
It's so interesting seeing neither bot lane has actually reset yet. You know, both of these ADs still just sitting on their Doran's Blade, no one going back and grabbing an early tier to get that stacking. It's just been about the non-stop push until just now they're going to be going back to base, and a really nice buy there for FBI, getting the full Dirk plus the tier and another longsword on top. Is going to be feeling really good.
I also want to shout out Alphari. You know, Jensen has no flash. This Syndra is the #1 target, no teleport. So what does he do? He uses his roam timing from pushing the Shen in to head down mid first and allow Jensen to get his recall off, allow Jensen to actually fully push mid without his flash on Syndra in the most vulnerable moment. That's some solo laner camaraderie.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just smart stuff, too. If you can't actually punish the Shen in the 1v1, if the wave is pushed and you don't think that you can punish him under tower, which really you can't in this matchup, then go somewhere else. Get something done elsewhere. And Alphari has been effective at doing it, but Ssumday, you know, in a pretty decent spot himself, already has the Bomby, working towards Tabby's very likely, and is going to be sitting pretty, I think, up here on the top side. It hasn't been TL creating a big advantage.
Yeah, you love when your top laners go that extra mile and just do something more effective with their time. Get some wards down, make a little roam, unlock somebody, get a little bit of tempo from pushing the minion wave. On reset, though, with this control ward in the back of the Rift Herald, you see bottom lane half rotating. And this is what I love from 100 Thieves. They will half move FBI up without costing them any minions on bottom side by him going into Fog of War and just threatening the possible rotation over to Rift Herald. They 100% secure it for themselves. He doesn't lose any minion waves to the counter push on bottom side. No extra gold or experience there, so very valuable pickup on the side of 100 Thieves, and that is both of the early game neutral objectives back-to-back, despite the little gold lead there for Team Liquid off of CS.
It was actually really clever. He was just chilling on the blast cone in his own jungle, just waiting there so he can blast cone back to the tower as soon as that's going to crash. Or to your point, if a fight is breaking out, he's going to be first on the rotation as well, seeing Ezreal on bot side. So smart stuff there. Not an overcommitment that we see, I think, a lot of teams fall into.
A nice little, even that sidestep by FBI, I just love to see. Hold on, we got a root on a Jensen. Does have his flashback in time, though a crucial cooldown could have meant a death, but no kills on the board just yet in this game. And Santorin waiting around the top side. Somebody's going to get hit a little bit, but he had the dodge zone ready, so no extra damage from Alphari, but still Lee Sin's waiting around. Will have a ward to jump to. This could be a kickback. Ssumday has to be careful. Does not have dodge available. Alphari, of course, has his ult, has hookshot in 2. Will there be a play? Going for the stun. This could be the setup. Gonna put him into the ulti. No easy way out. When do you ward hop and kick? Because you can't really live through this one. The follow is in, and first blood comes through for Team Liquid's jungler.
Beautiful combination there from Alphari and Santorin. Bottom side is gonna be where it focuses on the counterplay for 100 Thieves. Remember, they have Rift Herald in hand, so you can not only push your bottom lane off the tower, but they can also activate Rift Herald.
And that's why Alphari immediately based, so he can actually counter TP here. He is waiting in base, ready to prevent any potential dive. Instead of farming that plate gold, he got back to base to try to defend, but they may have overstayed their welcome anyway.
Headbutt, flash pulverized, Tactical getting low, Tactical will drop, but here comes Alphari. Is it going to be enough? First reset comes through for Closer, low health point of CoreJJ. Jensen healthy though, as Rift Herald drops, the minion wave will be falling pretty rapidly. Headbutt Pulp comes in, Alistar tanks it up, kill number 1 and number 2. 100 Thieves play through the bot lane, and the bot lane rewards them, not only with 4 turret plates, but 4 kills as well.
Oh my goodness, there goes the early game, boys. 100 Thieves are off to the races.
What a play from 100 Thieves, the aggression to pull off that dive. They knew Santorin was topside, and even though Alphari and Jensen had the TP to respond, there was too many members. They were so overloaded that by the time they arrived, Tactical, CoreJJ are basically out of it.
Spotlight for me is on Huhi.
Yes.
They put Huhi on Alistar, and look at the target selection in our Honda performance replay from him. The only carry that's here. They already know, yes, the teleport can come through, but look at the mini-map. Lee Sin is topside, so they know they'll have the extra numbers. They go for carry number 1, Tactical, and Abbeddage even saves his combo, waiting for the extra arcane shift there. They do get it. And then reset tower aggro, guess what? Carry number 2, Jensen, is the next target. Right next to the wall, full combo. He gets blown up immediately, and just surgical precision here for 100 Thieves on the dive. If you remember all the way back to the lock-in tournament, the dives were what got them their success at the start of the year, and they're what's getting them the success at the start of finals.
And it's beautiful to look at right now. FTX Gold Advantage, 1,700. 2 dragons on the table. On pace for a 23-minute Ocean Soul. If they hold the map, this is going their way fast.
This is what you want to see when you've got a Shen on your team. Use that Stand United early and use it to just destroy the other side of the map. Yeah, okay, Lee Sin is pushing on your top tower, got a couple turret plates up there, but you took the rest of his team.
Yeah.
Really well done, honestly. Like, right off the gank, just ulting down to bot side, and pretty much every time it's off cooldown, you want to look for those aggressive plays, especially now that Closer is ahead of the pace of the game. This Viego is really, really strong. You can just play with no fear. Go into TL's jungle. Have that Stand United available, knowing that there's no TP from Alphari. There is TP for Ssumday right now, and he's going to have his ult in about 10-15 seconds.
And you try again. You look for another kill, and you get ahead. Because guess what? When you fight with the strong members, those fights tend to go really well. First item spike, of course, done for FBI. Neither mid laner mage has that, but with the Divine Syndra Viego you're talking about, yeah, he's going to be ready to go with the Shen over the top. That shield's a big deal. Ulti's coming up in about 1 second, and now it's ready to go. So, cool. I'm in there. I've got Raptors, who he's waiting in the brush. He's got a sweeper to know they're not on wards. He's ready to bodyguard me if any play is happening.
And you see how many resources now, because 100 Thieves were able to get so much off that play, all of the kills plus the tower taken away, Team Liquid have to use excessive resources to defend very low-value parts of the map. They had 3 people just covering the LeBlanc split push. Everybody over there, and that allows this rotation for 100 Thieves. Guess what? Someday, now you're on the side of the map that has extra priority, so he gets to push all the way up to turret. They take over the entire red quadrant of the jungle. So much is afforded to you by that heavy commitment.
And you saw the fact that Alphari had to go and cover the jungle, right? Shen got 2 turret plates in a matchup where he got ganked. Now, to be fair, Alphari got 4. So, you know, it was fine up there, but the man has to walk out of his own lane despite winning it.
This is why I always follow the age-old solo queue advice. Never gank the losing lane. Always play to your strong side.
Yeah.
And just try and get more off of your strengths rather than covering for weaknesses, because that is the way to get your weaker players right back in the game. Then they're afforded by your strength the extra coverage.
And now the question is just going to be, can 100 Thieves continue pushing this lead forward? Can they extend it even further here? Or can TL buy time to actually set up for Alphari to get out to the sidelines to get this split push going? Because they have absolutely no control right now. When you actually look, up at the top side of the jungle, this whole quadrant is just littered with 100 Thieves wards. There's not really any safety for Alphari, and that is why, even though he has his mythic completed, he is actually stronger right now. He can't play aggressively. He can't look for trades. He can't look to push.
I just love the evolution of this team, the 100 Thieves, over the course of this year. And they've put so much more preparation, it feels like, into a lot of these game plans. Whereas at the beginning of the year, starting out with raw aggression and just skirmishing and trying to get their advantages that way, very, very well planned out this time around. Again, every neutral objective in this whole game has gone the way of the 100 Thieves.
It's a top lane dive away from a perfect game against the team that came from the upper bracket, that beat you last time you played the best of 5.
We're pretty far away from
yes,
a perfect
of course
game.
we are. But the current pace is that scoreline.
Yeah.
Is TL have only found a single
If
kill?
you don't count the kills, they have no kills.
I'm only just counting 1 kill. It's a little bit of subtraction and barely any, Azael.
Quick maths.
Bam! Quick maths. Mid lane turret down as well. 2-0 in that scoreline. 4-1 in the kill scoreline. 2-0 in the Dragons. And the best of 5, they're hoping it's 3-0 for them.
Yeah. Now, Team Liquid, though, there's a reason so many people had so much faith in this team. They beat basically every top team on their road here to finals. And now, going to have to do a lot more to pull out of this one versus 100 Thieves. Game number 1 going so far in their favor. Guess what? Your very risky bet of giving over Viego to closer, you actually aren't going to get a lot of data on it. This dive wasn't super successful because of closer. It was because of Huhi. It was because of the Shen pick. It was because of the team coordination. And so not only are you in dangerous territory of going down 1-0 in a best-of-5 series, but you also didn't even get what you really wanted to prove out of the champ select.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because you take away this Renekton, and I think that the data has shown that that would be a good move. But with Shen now in the mix here, does it even matter? Like, is it even worth banning the top lane? Even though, to your point, we don't know that Viego is the problem, it's maybe looking like it's going to be more of a problem
we
than
know it will be a problem, that's for sure. Meanwhile, as you're looking at how this game's going to play out for the rest of it here as we approach mid-game, because 100 Thieves have all the cards, dragon stacking as well as extra side lane pressure with the Shen, and, LeBlanc being able to push foot on the other side, always being able to stand united to answer, it just makes it so much easier for them to take away comeback opportunities from Team Liquid. You push in your side lanes, you always get these neutral objectives first, and then you can get your deeper wards so that you're alerted to any of these rotations from Team Liquid very early on, and you even have the panic buttons to survive if they try and pull off, brush attempt to surprise you.
Well, the timer has begun, and it's counting down 4:42, and it gets lower and lower. 100 Thieves have finally dropped top lane out of turret. Good job, Alphari. Finished that objective, got some more gold, but you saw the total gold graph. It's 100 Thieves, 100 Thieves, 100 Thieves. Oh, there's Alphari, and it's like, well, there's 3 other carries above you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just been full control. The vision control that Kobe's talking about. This line of wards all the way in this section. Covering that.
Right now, he flashes over towards his team, but the health bar's getting low. Stunned up now as well. Will there even be a trade? 1-0 so far, and Abeddage comes in. Abeddage is a problem. Alphari's gonna drop as well. Too many threats on 100 Thieves. TL gotta turn tail and run, but can they even get away? They're still chasing. The next chain might find themselves a kill as Santorin wants to kick to get the chain away. The flash fall over closer. Headbutt pulverized for Huhi. A flash to escape, but Santorin, oh, it's still gonna be Abeddage on the chase down. Red Smite's gonna try to give him a little bit more to deal with, and he does get away with his life, but it's 7-2 in the kill score.
Abeddage in that fight, absolutely popping off the flash follow there to lock up Alphari, get another kill, and 100 Thieves are on fire in game number 1.
The hell have they been feeding these boys leading up to championship weekend?
The corpses of Cloud9, that's what they've been eating.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
They're already dead. Honestly, though, this game number 1 is just such a clean sweep with this convergence here. So again, we mentioned how many coverage plays 100 Thieves have. Very good ultimate there from FBI lands, and so it gets out the flash early. As you're talking about Abeddage, he early flashes. That chain was about to break, just so close. Flashes to make sure it stays there. Gets the extra kill. Guess what? We're back to live, or back to Abeddage racking up another one. This is going to be so painful for Team Liquid. At this point, your main goal is actually just keeping your mental strong for the rest of the series, because you're in for a beating here.
Yeah, I mean, he is just off to the races at this point. It was double distortion on both the soul laners on the top side, absolutely lighting them up. Come out of killing CoreJJ, back to live killing CoreJJ, and it's looking tough here. This LeBlanc is just on fire, and TL doesn't really have another game plan besides, all right, pray that we can get Alphari strong enough that he can make something happen in the side lane and buy time. So they're overloading his side of the map, trying to really force him ahead, but 100 Thieves knows that's what you're going to do, so they're covering the play, and they're covering the play from a point in the game where they're just way stronger.
Yeah, even if you try and stack a surprise bush or something, Closer comes over, get out of that bush, stabs him out. They're back to pushing all lanes. You've got the extra global. 100 Thieves. All right, now it's going to be a magnifying glass on how cleanly can you close this out. How quickly can you deliver this killing blow to Team Liquid so you can push this forward? Because this was game number 1 with 100 Thieves getting blue side for themselves, and they didn't have to show anything super surprising extra. I do like the involvement of Shen, because that was one of the questions that we had in our caster check-in for top lane. Hey, if Ssumday's going to play weak side, and he just went to Ornn and Gnar and Ornn and Gnar, and Alphari always had this big advantage, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to add another global to that weak side and overload even harder, just commit further to the bottom side play. We'll see this evolution if Team Liquid can come up with some sort of game plan to try and deal with this.
Well, we'll see if they can maybe overload through Alphari. That's still where most of their gold lies as far as I can call or tell here, but we are 1 minute away from Ocean Soul to 100 Thieves' favor, and that will roughly double the lead they've got in this game. It should make a Baron setup pretty easy.
And just look at the vision. There's nothing really on the bottom side of the map past very shallow wards here. It's like a ward over there is about all they have that just expired. They're trying to push up now to maintain some vision in the Dragon area, because TL knows they have got to fight at this. If you give an Ocean Soul this early, Shen is going to be invincible in the side lane, and then your win condition is just out the door.
And here's what happens to a team, right, when you're losing this heavily to Team Liquid. Your risk tolerance goes through the roof. If you see somebody even that you have an idea of being out of position, you're instantly all in.
Yeah.
No hesitation. You go for that pick. That is your way to snowball, because those opportunities do not present themselves often when a team is this far ahead. So they're grouping up, hoping to try and take advantage of somebody mispositioning here. Unfortunate for them.
Yeah, positioning looks really good right now for 100 Thieves. Abbeddage keeps his Banshee's Veil shield popped up. Huhi walks in. Good jump back for Tactical. The push back, now the ult's going to land. That's going to be damage to CoreJJ. They can just overload the support, and yes, he is gone. Huge Snipes comes in, and Closer is ready to engage. This is how it's done, Core. You land the skill shots, the enemies die. 10-2 in the Ocean Drakes here for the taken.
Man, Closer can do no wrong today. He is crushing it on the Viego. Kobe, you were worried about this pick, and TL should have been. This guy is the best Viego in the league. He has been incredible throughout playoffs. Such a star player here for 100 Thieves.
And I mean, you're just getting outplayed as an entire team across the board here in game number 1 for 100 Thieves. So hats off to them for delivering this. Oh, Ssumday got interrupted. He does have flash.
Okay, what's he going to play around here? Dashing to the side. Not. Okay, there we go. The ulti's on, but he's got a teammate coming around. If they can buy just enough time, they have a 2-on-2. Yep, comes across. Jensen's low, finds a stun. Not going to matter because Abbeddage is here for his teammate.
Ocean Soul,
if
though.
Shen shows for the dive, yes, indeed. Something going to gain a few hundred health at the end of that one as it's going to time out. But now CoreJJ, you won't have the damage. There's nothing you can do here. Abbeddage might laugh at you. Again, Closer should maybe just be paid for lessons or something, because he makes it look easy, and it's just not that way. Baron is claimed, and 12-2. Abbeddage wants more in a 2v3.
Oh my God, they're just playing with their food now. 2v5 on the bot lane.
I'm not surprised.
Three people killing Baron.
I'm not surprised at this point. The entire map, Summoner's Rift, belongs to 100 Thieves. They're the new sponsor now. They've got the 100 Thieves flag over up by Baron. They're killing the attempted Baron steal. Wow. Abbeddage comes over to save his solo queue brethren in Ssumday. Stopwatch. I like that. That was a nice little touch too to buy some extra time. 100 Thieves about to wrap this one up with Baron buff here at 20, almost 5 minutes into the game. They actually don't even have to wait around for Elder Dragon. You've got the regeneration to just keep the siege up forever with Ocean Soul and Baron buff. Here's a look at that attempted Baron steal. Oh, well.
Back to live.
And here's a look at another death. Alphari has nowhere to go for this one. 1 versus 3. Snipe comes in. FBI, I think, auto attacks the last hit. He is now unstoppable 5-0-4.
Man, they're just getting straight up stomped. And this completely changes expectations for the rest of the series, because TL really were coming in as heavy favorites. And now with this dominant of a game number 1 here, you got to be shaking your boots a little bit as a TL fan.
Here's what you do have as Team Liquid right now. You got to say, oh, look at that 700 gold bounty on the...
Whole team.
Excuse me, bounty. But now they're already getting killed again.
Closer brings in Shen, and yes, Ssumday on his last hit finds a taunt as well. Double kill comes in for the top laner. Who's weak side now? Looks like the entire TL base is that. It's CoreJJ and Santorin forced to leave and get out of there, because guess what? The territory has been taken. 100 Thieves have taken it away. It's been stolen, and now the base is under assault. Bottom inhibitor turret going to fall, inhibitor itself to follow.
They're moving those 100 Thieves flags, Phreak. They used to be in Baron Pit. Now they're further and further forward.
They're on the Nexus, Gobi.
Oh my goodness.
So there we go. 26 minutes and 10 seconds. I have seen a 100 Thieves TL final with games ending this fast before, and it was years ago, and it was the other way around. 100 Thieves wanted vengeance, and boy, do they have it. A game 1 slaughter against Team Liquid.
They changed the players, and they definitely changed the results, Phreak. From 2018 to present, 100 Thieves will go up 1-0, and Team Liquid have a lot to think about after that.
Yeah, I mean, that is tough. I do think that though Alphari has been so dominant in the side lanes, the Shen is a pretty good answer to almost everything he actually wants to play. That is an aggressive split pusher, right? And that has been so much of the TL bread and butter throughout playoffs is Alphari gets so far ahead, you can try focusing him like TSM did, doesn't matter, he's too good in lane. You can try ignoring him, well, doesn't matter because he's just going to run you over. He's too good in lane. And now they actually had a solution here that not only answered the 1v1 in the early game, but by the time the late game was coming, the game was already over because they crushed the other side of the map through great play.
I know Ssumday would never do this, but it was really funny yesterday. Alphari actually had a deleted tweet where he tweeted, I want to play against Ssumday's Camille, and he just beat Alphari's Camille in game number 1. Yeah, not in the 1v1, but, you know, team difference.
Team difference. Well done. 100 Thieves 1-0 in the series, so now it's time once again to explore food with our very own Kaizen and taste of local, delivered by Grubhub.